Our standard question is, and the name of our show, of course, is Turning Point. What was the turning point in your career, or what was the turning point in your life? But let's put it this way. What was the turning point in Blackmore's night?
I think it was when I fell off stage. I kind of hit my head, and I thought, I must play medieval music the rest of my life.
I think the turning point for you was, I know exactly the turning point, actually. There was a very clear fork in the road for Ritchie in 1995 or 6, I think.
Actually, it was, yes, okay.
He had already handed in his resignation notice with Deep Purple. He went and reformed Rainbow, but he wasn't crazy about the way that was going, or the rock and roll world was going. It became very corporate at that point.
Generic.
And generic, he says. And so he could have gone in one of two directions. He could have stayed with Rainbow and continued on in the rock world, or he could have gone ahead with Blackmore's Night. When we were in Massachusetts, he was recording with Rainbow at that point in 95. And while the other guys were doing their tracks for the Stranger in Us All CD, Ritchie and I would be sitting by a fireplace playing acoustic music, looking out the window with the snow falling, and on a farmhouse, and it was beautiful. And so our music wound up being his escape from the rock and roll world, or what it had become, which was mainly egos and people in corporate offices telling them what direction the music should go into and what they should wear and what the title should be. So it wasn't much artistic creativity, and of course Ritchie's all about artistic creativity. So we were writing our own music and doing it just for ourselves. We never thought we would put a CD out there or any music out there until our friends heard our music and thought, they told us that if we put CDs out, that they would actually buy it because they enjoyed what we were doing so much. But Ritchie continued on the road. He went to a Sweden rock festival where they were headlining with Rainbow. And when he was on the way there, something interesting happened. Ritchie, you want to finish the story?
No, I think you're in over your head.
Am I? Okay. Well, I'll just put it out there, whatever. But what wound up happening was right before he was going to leave to go on that tour, or to do those few dates, the festival dates, he got a phone call from a couple of the band members who apparently were staging a mutiny. And they said, if you don't pay us double the money, we're not coming on tour. And it was a few days before the shows. So Ritchie called the promoters and said, can I pull out? And they said, no, all the advertising's been done. You need to show up or you're going to be sued. He was in a horrible situation that some of his band members had put him in. It was really terrible.
But it wasn't the drummer, and it wasn't the keyboard player.
Yeah, you narrow it down. That's, yeah, it wasn't them, right? Exactly. That narrows it down a little bit.
The other two.
Yeah.
So, we basically went through. We promised the guys their demands, what they had demanded, and got over there. And Ritchie, at that point, was so angry and had to be on stage with these people who had basically blackmailed him to do this date. And after he stepped off stage, he wrote a contract. The American agent was there. He said, look, we have a year's worth of touring for you all throughout Eastern Europe, all throughout America. If you want to continue on with Rainbow, let's do it. Ritchie said, I can't with this band doing what they just did to me. I'm going to write a contract, one-page simple contract that basically says, this is what you're contracted for. If you want to go on the road and continue on with Rainbow, sign on the X, give it back to me before you get on the plane, and we'll move ahead. If not, I'm going to move ahead with other things. And that's exactly what happened. He handed the contract out. Two of the guys gave the contract back, signed immediately. Two of the guys went out, got drunk, got on the plane, and didn't hand the contract in at all. About a week later, they called up and said, what's going on with the tour dates?
Oh, my God.
That was the turning point. Ritchie, at that point, said, I'm moving ahead with Blackmore's Night. That wound up turning. That was when, in 1997, we went into the studio. We finished recording the songs that we had just written spur of the moment while he was, doing the other stuff with in that farmhouse. And it was 15 years. It's been 15 years now. So that was an absolute definite. You can't get more of a fork in the road than that, really. It's one way or the other. And
that's
they
an
actually,
inside story.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But that's the truth of what happened, and that's how Blackmore's Night wound up being formed. And And years later, we're still continuing on our journey, and it's probably the best thing that could have happened, because I've never seen him happier on stage. He's actually not in a box where he only plays one genre of music. He gets to play whatever he wants to, whenever he wants to. He does extended solos and intros. You'll never hear the same song twice. He changes the set list every night. We have great band members who are just amazing people as well as amazing musicians, very versatile and funny, and everybody gets along like we're at summer camp whenever we go on the road. And I think, positivity-wise, he's just in a much better place. And you actually do get to see Ritchie Blackmore on stage smiling now, which is before you never would have seen that.
Oh, we've never seen that before.
Exactly.
I try not to, and I hide my face if I'm about to smile. So not too many people.